Alright, we've made it to episode 6 of The Mandalorian Season 2 on Disney+. Now we gotta talk about it. Everybody, so as I just said, Season 2, Episode 6 of The Mandalorian is upon us. We're getting closer and closer to that finale for Season 2. So I want to thank you guys so much for checking back each week to talk about the show with me. And if you're new here, make sure you also subscribe to the channel, leave a like and all that jazz so you can stay up to date with all my Mandalorian stuff and also all my other movie and TV reviews on the channel. We had quite the great episode last week. We got the introduction to Ahsoka Tano in live action. She teamed up with Mando to take down the Magistrate. She had this really awesome battle with the Magistrate where she name drops Grand Admiral Thrawn. And not only that, but we get a lot more backstory on the child, or should I say Grogu. We find out the child's name is Grogu. He was actually trained at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant and was hidden by someone when the Empire rose to power. So that also opens up the door for several questions when it comes to the past of who took him and all that other stuff. So that's going to be an interesting development as the season goes on. But Ahsoka doesn't take Grogu. She actually tells Mando to take him to the ancient ruins of a temple on the planet Tython and let Grogu decide his path and see if any Jedis reach out to him, which could mean a couple different Jedi. Maybe we'll see an appearance. We'll have to find out and see. I will admit this episode really did surprise me. I thought it was going to be kind of underwhelming just because I did see that really short runtime. It's only like 33 minutes long. And I kind of figured, so we had a couple episodes left, we were going to have a filler episode, but we actually didn't. This was like a non-stop adrenaline ride of an episode full of action. It was directed by Robert Rodriguez, which makes sense when you really look back on the episode just because it's very high-octane action that's in the Robert Rodriguez kind of style. Mando and Grogu even make it to Tython in the very beginning of this episode. I really thought there was going to be a side quest of some kind, but they make it with no problem whatsoever. I did think it was adorable we opened up the episode with Mando still kind of being like a dad figure to Grogu just because he thinks it's really cool that his name's Grogu and he has all those cute noises he makes when he does it. And he's playing with that little ball thing he always does. But we do land on the actual planet. They fly over with the jetpack. And Mando sets him on the altar, and Grogu gets his thing going. He's, connected with the Force. While Grogu's on the altar, though, we see a ship fly in, a very familiar ship. If if you're a Star Wars fan, you probably could have easily spotted it. It's Slave One, Boba Fett's ship. So even before they revealed a minute or two later, Boba Fett arrives on the planet. They have a little scuffle between Mando and Boba Fett. And then we also see that Fennec from Ming-Na Wen from last season, she's alive as well. I think we all kind of speculated that, Boba Fett was in the end of that episode and Fennec wasn't actually dead in that episode. So it was really cool to see Ming-Na Wen come back for this episode. Obviously, Boba wants his armor back from Mando. Mando seems a bit skeptical. He doesn't really trust Boba Fett. Kind of skeptical about anybody when he thinks of Mandalorian, so I guess it makes sense a little bit. The main highlight of this episode, of course, is all of those awesome action set pieces. Mando versus Boba Fett, and then Boba Fett and Fennec and Mando actually team up to take on all of the stormtroopers that drop in because they're going to try and take Grogu, because Moff Gideon, of course, is tracking them. Some really badass fights, especially from Boba Fett. Even when he's not in his armor, he has this awesome weapon that he just destroys stormtroopers with. The stormtroopers in this, they're still pretty crappy. I actually was kind of genuinely surprised that a fair amount of them actually can hit Mando in his armor. It's just that the Beskar armor is so strong, they just fly right off him and doesn't do any damage. But most of them are still pretty bad. I mean, they do get better weapons later on. Some of them have turrets and all that. But that's when Boba Fett actually goes into the Razor Crest and takes his armor back, and we get full-blown Boba Fett once again. He definitely, it definitely doesn't fit him as well as it did back in the original films. I'll guess leave it at that. It doesn't fit him that well, but he's still pretty badass being the whole Boba Fett that we all know. I actually think he's just as awesome in this. I think he does a little bit more in this than we do see him in anything, really, Empire Strikes Back or even Return of the Jedi. My favorite moment with Boba Fett, though, is the fact that he actually shoots the rocket at the ships that are escaping, but he actually meant to hit the other one. So it just goes to show you that his equipment really isn't very good. He needs to get it fixed up. It always has some sort of malfunction or error, and hopefully maybe we can recorrect that a little bit in the future with Boba Fett. Moff Gideon, though, he unleashes those dark troopers that we saw several episodes ago. They're fully functional now. They swoop in, they take Grogu off of that altar, that temple, and they fly away with them, unfortunately. Just for good measure, they blow up the Razor Crest, so I guess R.I.P. Razor Crest, I don't think you're gonna fix what happened to it in this episode. I mean, they fix it a lot, but I think it's over now. But I guess that means that Fennec, Boba Fett, and Mando, and I guess also Cara Dune, because Cara Dune gets involved as well later on in the episode, they all are going to have to team up to take down Moff Gideon and get back Grogu, because Grogu is obviously taken captive. We do see an interesting tidbit of info, because we do see Moff Gideon go into the actual bay where Grogu is, and Grogu's just force pulling everyone around, just beating up these stormtroopers, and then they lock him away because they need him, for, donors. They're going to take him back to Dr. Pershing and do more of experiments and all that we saw in a previous episode. So even though it was quite a very short episode, a lot of stuff actually did happen in this episode. It wasn't filler. I am curious to see where the rest of the season's going to go, because now that they have Grogu, and it seems like we're going to have them team up, this big team up, we're going to probably get all of these different characters that we've seen along the way back up to take down Moff Gideon. It's going to be really interesting stuff. Let me know in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode of The Mandalorian? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What do you think's going to happen? I mean, as we're wrapping up the season, do you think we're going to have this stuff resolved? What do you think the cliffhanger is going to be? Either way, leave all your thoughts in the comment section down below, because I talk about all things movies and TV and stuff like that on the channel. Thank you so much for checking my reviews, though. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you like it, the subscribe button. We'll keep doing movie reviews, show reactions, unboxings, and more. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.